Yeah, here we go. This is going to be exactly the same. They break into a gallop, miles away. If we just started 100 yards beforehand, let's see. No, they're never going to go again. And I do genuinely think we're now between a rock and a hard place. Bo coming forward, we've just got to clear this better. And no, we're going too fast again. So it's a repeat. And the problem with this start, we're going to use it again, is, and now we're getting some boos, is that as you can see, if we go back, it's on the turn, and so as a result you can't let them go.
Well, the starts have been problematic this week here at the Cheltenham Festival, and Robbie Supple is team leader of the starting team. You know, first things first, Robbie, like, what are you as a starter looking for from the riders and the horses as they approach you?
We want them to come in at a walk, jig jog if possible, and wait until we drop the flag. We raise the flag to invite them to come forward, and when everybody is in where we'd like them to be, we drop the flag for them to go. It's the same as we do all year round, really.
There's been a couple of starts where a few people have said, oh, it looks an absolutely okay start. They are cantering when they get near you. Is that an automatic no start?
Yeah, because we've got to keep it fair to the ones who are obeying the rules. If we start letting them go when they're cantering, it's only going to get quicker, as it has done in the past. We reviewed the starts in 2014 because all the horses were coming in too fast at this, especially at the festival and at Aintree. And what it did cause was they started galloping back from further away from the start, and they were going quicker when they got to the first fence.
Yeah, but at the moment, it looks to me, it's only to my naked eye, but if they're too far away from you walking in, you give them the opportunity to get cantering.
But the fact is, we can't start the race till it's the correct time. So when there's a big field of horses, they've got to go back far enough so that the idea is when they reach us, it's the correct time. Yeah. Now, in one of the races on Tuesday, they were way ahead of time. Two of our team advised them that they were ahead of the time, and they ignored them and kept coming. And we can't start the race too early. Yeah.
And you're very keen to establish no cantering. They must only be trotting at fastest when they get to you.
Well, jig jog, a trot is the ones on the. If the ones on the inside keep to a walk, kind of jig jog, we accept the ones on the outside because some of the starts are on a bend. We'll have to trot to keep up. And if one gets a bit behind, they can try to catch up. So we're trying to be fair to everybody. Now, in our opinion, we've had fair starts. Okay, maybe not every horse has got as good a start as they've wanted, but it certainly is fairer to have them standing in a straight line than strung out with the ones on the inside a couple of lengths in front of the others. That's what we're trying to establish. We're just trying to be fair to everybody.
Well, listen, thank you very much for clarifying that.
Okay, thanks, Mick.
So there's a lot of talk this week about false starts because there's been a false start in nearly every race. Richard has to call these races and is probably best placed and probably concentrating more than most at these times. Can you talk us through what's going on here? Who's to blame, if there's anyone to blame? I know it's a high-octane time. Can you give us a word on it?
It's sort of a bit like a relationship. Once it begins to go wrong, you each blame each other for the reasoning. The rules as they stand are that you can't come in at anything more than a trot, ideally a jig jog. And there are no doubt in the recent races, second day, beginning of the third day, they have been coming in too fast. Slight issue for me is trying then to have standing starts with big fields with a taper cross. Is very difficult, and we've seen, if you backed Primoz, if you backed Maughreen, you will feel that you were denied a fair start, if you like. If you do allow jockeys leeway and they come in faster and faster, come on, you must have done it on a front runner. You're trying to nick a few lengths and you're not going to let somebody else have that position.
I think the biggest thing as a jockey is you don't want to give anybody else an advantage. So as soon as another horse goes a neck up and is getting a run on you, it then forces those behind to rush, and then we can't control that momentum then. So that's where the trickiness is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know Nico was sort of, a little bit upset about the start for John Bon, but he, along with others, were all ones that were coming in too fast. He wasn't going to lie back because he'd have given away some of the initiative. It is very difficult, and at the end of the day, you've got to trust. But the danger, I suppose, is once you get going a little faster, you will just feel you'll push the envelope to see what you can get away with.
So, obviously, we've tinkered with starts over the years. Are there any obvious changes that you think can be made to improve the situation?
I personally would always, and Robbie Supple, the starter, knows this, I would always prefer the second one to be a walk-in from less far. I do think walking in is the best way to start it. So when we revert to a standing start, there always seems to be at least one that's inconvenienced, whereas when they walk in, but the starting staff will say, well, what's the point if they keep going to break the line? But I do think we go back a long way at times, and as a result, everyone's just, you just get going a bit early. If that line was sort of second time was 50 yards back and you all had to go behind it, all had to take that turn. But at the moment, you get a few side on, who don't want to give their position away. You've got a good spot, you're not going to take a turn, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I feel like they enforced this more in the past, and they maybe don't so much now, is making us be a certain distance back from the tape for a standing start. I think there should be more of a distinctive line, sort of, you can't come within 30 yards of the tape, and it prevents the horses from getting a spook and can help there. And if it's in black and white and that is the line, and if you're in front of it, you're going to get days. Maybe that might help that situation a little bit.
It's really difficult because fundamentally, at the end of it, it is about trust, isn't it? It's about trusting that if the rules are broken, the starter will wave that flag and it will be a full start. But so much brinkmanship goes on. Let's face it, if it's a front runner, John Bond, for example, if you think you're going to inconvenience him by making it a standing start sometime in the future based on what happened the other day, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I know one positive I will say about standing starts that I do like, not standing starts, all these false starts, is I love how competitive that it is. Everybody is trying so hard, and even at a Tuesday at Chepstow in an 0 to 100, no one wants to give an inch away. Everybody's trying as hard as they can, and it is just that sort of manifests in itself. So that is, I know it's frustrating, but it does just show how tight it all is and how competitive it all is.
I think people do underestimate, don't they, certain races. Welsh National, really good example. In the old days when there was no run to the first, how much you can lose, even in the staying chase, by ending up in the wrong place early on. The tough start with standing starts is many punters feel that they're denied a run right from the off.
Yeah, and absolutely, as a jockey, you can wipe your race. I know Maughreen earlier maybe whipped round before the tapes actually went up, but it is that binary of, you get a good one or you get zero and you're out of the race altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. You can think of Pickrock and certainly Primoz the other day. Your chance is absolutely gone in races that competitive. There's no right answer. It's just rebuilding the trust. But the relationship at the moment is on dodgy ground. A bit of relationship counselling might be needed, I think.
Yeah, no, and I'm conscious here you've promised us a quick word, and you've probably got another 70 runners between here and the end of the day. So I think we've pushed it as far as we can. So thanks for your time.
No worries, Anne. Nice to see you.